Hey, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how I use Suno Studio. And the way I use it on my own songs where I've created the chords, the chord structure, the melody, top line, and lyrics. And I just feed it some of that and basically alter the production, the sounds used in the mix, and the vocal, of course. Some of you don't like AI for music making at all, but I see AI as a creative tool, a way of getting ideas across, getting inspiration, and yeah, generally boost my creativity. So for this video, I'm going to use my own music, of course. I've chosen the song The Longest Summer, which I made several years ago. So I'm going to feed it into Suno Studio and steer everything in the direction I want. I want to make this into a cover of my own song, not something new. So the melody line, the chord structure, everything will be as I wrote it originally, but the production value will be different. So let's head out into Suno Studio and see what we get. It's not to compete with my originals, but to reach a new audience for my music. The first thing I will do is to upload my song, which we're going to work on. And this is not something I've rehearsed. This is totally from scratch. So this is the song. I'll click open on that. And it's called The Longest Summer. I could, of course, have called this The Longest Summer from the get-go. I can do that now while it's uploading. The Longest Summer, which is a song I made a few years ago. I have it posted on my YouTube channel under Espen Kraft Music. And here it is. So let's check out the song from the beginning, so you'll get a reference point in terms of what we will be doing here. So let's start from the beginning and have a little bit of listen to it. So that was the first intro part. I continue with the same part, but with drums and bass and some synths. And now comes the extended intro. So as you can hear, there's a lot of sampled ahs here. This is my own voice, played from a sampler. It's important to have this reference when we're gonna instruct Suno to turn this into a cover of our choice. A little bit of intermission here before we go into the first verse. So that was the verse. Okay, that was the chorus. And then we'll go into a little bit of intermission again, a bridge, second verse, second chorus, another bridge, and the outro. Pretty standard in the world of pop. And here we can, I can add parts here if I want to in real time from my synths or vocals or whatever, just like any other DAW, which we will not do here now. So let's expand this into the create section where we can work on this a little bit more. And what we will do now is drag this whole thing over into the create section. I'll just mark it like this. And I'll take it over here and drop it in here to remix as it says. And now the interesting things are starting to happen. Suno has analyzed the song in terms of what's happening. It's come up with a really extensive description of what is happening. I really like, and I'm impressed with how much it can decipher from that audio file into text, what this song is. And here it's come up with, or it's transcribed the lyrics, and you can see all those ahs here, which is, of course, the intro part where I have those sampled ahs. And not much else. So we'll have to do something about this to get the lyrics going, because I want this new version to have the exact same lyrics. So what we'll do is type that down. And here we have the lyrics, and I think we're gonna put this into brackets to tell Suno what is what. And I think, and at least in my experience, this will make it more predictable in how it's going to interpret the different sections and put the right words, the right lyrics into each of these sections. So let's try out this intro part first and just call that intro. And let's do one instrumental where I think it will hopefully interpret all those sampled ahs into other type of instruments, which we will instruct in a bit. And let's call this verse 1. And that's the lyrics. And now comes the fun part, the styles. And this is where we will put in exactly what we want Suno to do with the arrangement and the production. So let's turn this into a sort of slick, British, soulful pop with the disco influences. This is where I like to go with this cover, and most of the covers I've made so far, I want to go into that territory. So let's try it out. And if you use ChatGPT, you can get very detailed prompts how you'll instruct Suno. ChatGPT knows the way Suno likes to get its prompts. But I have experimented with that versus my own way of describing the style. And I think the way I'm going to show you now works equally well, if not better, than the very elaborate prompts that Suno makes. Maybe that'll work better for other genres, I don't know. But I'll do something like this. I'll start out with 80s, because I want some 80s influences. If you write 80s like this or just 80s like this, I'm not sure if it makes any difference. Let's try that simple way first. 80s, sophisticated British pop music. I want this sung by a female artist, by the way, so I'll take that into consideration when I write more of the prompts here. Soulful and disco-oriented. Let's go for a saxophone, intro and bridge. And we'll have strumming, electric guitars, lush background vocals. That's important. Strings and pads, electric piano, and medium tempo. I've experimented with this, and I'm not sure if writing medium tempo is necessary. Maybe I'll just go for the BPM directly. So let's just go for that at this point. And under the advanced options, this is really where you can change things. So let's pick out a female vocalist here. And under weirdness, if you crank this up to 100, you'll get very unexpected results. It can turn into anything really, glitchy vocals and yeah, stuff like that. So I found that having it on around 45 to begin with is okay. Style influence, it says turn it up to match your style description. So the more you want it to sound like you've prompted here, the more up it should be on the scale here. So let's go with 80% first. And audio influence, turn it up to resemble your original audio or persona. So I found that this will help to emphasize the way I phrase stuff and stuff like that. The new Suno vocalist will listen more to that if you crank this up. So let's go pretty high on that one, around 85. So we'll check that out first and see what it does. So again, if you go back to my original here, that's my original. Now, all we have to do is click on Create. And up here, it's now priming 2 suggestions for our song. So let's see what it comes up with. It's already done, most of it. So let's just scroll this here, and again, here's my original. Here are now 2 examples. So let's check out the first one and see what it does. Okay, not bad. The intro was nice when it's tried to interpret my which is because of probably of the, let's put this up again. Probably because of the instrumental section I defined here. I didn't like that at all, so I'll yank that out for the new versions we're going to create. But I liked the way she sang. She didn't sing 100% like myself in words of phrasing or melody top line. And that was, of course, because we didn't pull this up all the way to 100%. It made some decisions of its own on the way. The sax was nice and the overall background was nice. Let's just go into the other example and see what's going on there. some artifacts in the mouthpiece of the saxophonist there at the end. And let's turn this down a bit, and let's turn this down a bit as well, and see what we come up with now. I've also taken out that first instrumental part here, and there is some problems going on when this line here, with this line here, in a world of hurt. In either of these, in both of these first iterations, it didn't work all that well. So I would have to do something about that at a later stage if I like the rest of the vocals. But let's do two more and see what it comes up with when we've upped the weirdness a bit here. So this was a little bit more, even more slick, a little bit more transparent. I like this as well. Let's check out the last one. Well, I'll stop it there. This is by far the best version of those four, at least to me. It had a couple of few issues, which I would like to rectify, but this is definitely a version I like. I now can get the stems, or I can just download this whole song, but I can also get the stems and the MIDI stems for all the instrumental parts. So let's take that, which I liked, and go and open it in the studio. So let's play this now. So let's see what we can do here. We can extract the stems here, and let's do all detected stems. And when these are done, you can insert them into the DAW window here. So I can close this off now. So here are the stems. Now I'll insert them all. And here we have the complete version in Suno Studio. And this has now been muted, so let's check it out again.
My room, but every time I look around, I know it was just a dream. So I know that's not the case anymore. So I turn around and do the dishes.
Okay, let's do the first edit here. Let's just mute the lead vocal. And we had a little bit of sax part here. Let's zoom into that. This is obviously not sounding good. I picked that out straight away. So let's see if we can change that a little bit. So let's just zoom in on that, and yeah, like this. Now we can just click on replace and see what happens. It has to think a little bit, of course. And now we have two versions, version 2 and version 1 of that sax we didn't like. Yeah, much better already. Something about that last ending tone there. That didn't work very well. Let's check out version 2 instead. And see if that works better. Well, I'm not sure any of these worked perfectly. So I'll just erase these two. And let's do it one more time. Okay, so let's check this out. That was pretty awful. Let's go for this one instead then and see how that sounds. Yeah, so that worked better. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. You just have to experiment with the replacing parts to until you find something that you like. It was also a little bit too high in the volume, so I can just turn this down a bit. And there we have it. Now we can work on this, replacing parts and tailor it to your needs. At least that's what I will do. So this is basically how I've worked with my cover/remixes lately. I've imported my original audio, either as stems themselves or the full mix from my old recordings. I've given it lyrics, I've given it prompts, styles, and weirdness and all that stuff you saw here. And I've come up with several variations, and I've picked one or two I liked, and I've extracted stems, like you saw here, from these variations. And then I import every stem into my old DAW. This is what you're looking at right here. And here I add parts, I take out AI parts, I chop things around, I edit, I polish, I flick, and I hone everything into the finished new remix or cover. Drum parts, and you can see all the edits I've done here, lots of edits. I also add parts myself, like the crashes. This is something I've added on top of the Suno drum parts here. The same for the synths. You can see here I have 3 tracks here with Suno synths and keyboards, but the rest, these are mine. I also chopped up a lot of stuff from what Suno made into what you'll hear in the final result. And for the vocals, some edits here as well. You have to do that. And I also added de-essing because out of Suno, everything sounds a little harsh, especially on the S's, so I've tamed those a bit. And same for the guitar parts. Again, a lot of chopping up to make it sit well in the mix. Also added both reverbs and delays on the guitars and also chopped them up, as you can see. And also done some pitch shifting to rectify where Suno did it wrong. This was the best version I got out of Suno, but still a long way to go. And I've also added the MIDI parts, which are playing in sync with the rest as I mix this down. So as you can see, there is a lot of work to do, at least the way I want to do it, to get a nice sounding result out of Suno. Everything exported right out of Suno will not be good. It's not what I want, and Suno messes up chords, it messes up timbres, it messes up tones, the notes, where a guitar maybe should bend upwards, it bends it upwards too much. And drums, suddenly a snare hit is lower than the rest. Suddenly a percussion part sounds way out to the right instead of in the middle. Stuff like that happens all the time when you use Suno, and I have to correct that to make everything sound professional, polished, and the way I want it to. So again, it's not a one-click solution, at least not the way I do it. And finally, I add a little bit of bus compression. I found with Suno that everything gels together better with a little touch of bus compression at the end. So the next time you see me upload a cover/remix of one of my old songs, this is how I've done it. I've used some AI parts, but a lot of the parts will also be me sweating over each and every little detail in the arrangement, recording, mixing, polishing to make it up to a 2025 standard, which this is meant to be. It's not meant to sound authentically 80s, it's meant to sound 2025 with some 80s flavor. The technology is not there yet, but seeing how fast things have developed over the last year or so, I can't think it's that far off from us having really, really detailed control over every aspect of a mix. If you're wanting to have a sort of 80s open-sounded, no compression type of sound, lots of dynamics, etc., you can't get that now. There's no way Suno can separate 80s from the 90s, from the 2000s in terms of mixing or compression, stuff like that. So we're far off, but it won't be long before we have that as well. So I can't wait to see what the future holds in that regard. To me, using AI it's the shackles off. So I choose to use it the way I want to use it to enhance my own music. And what you will do with it, well, that's up to you. Hope you found this interesting. I'm Espen Kraft. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.